are you?
Hi, Dave.
Here with Randy Pagels. Randy, we spoke last week about Visual Studio Team System 2008, and I want to apologize because I called it Team Systems, but there's no S on
Quite
it,
all right.
All right. And today I want to talk to you about Visual Studio Team System 2010, which is what version is that in right now? Is it a CTP?
It's in a CTP right now. It is our version 3 of the Team System development tools.
Okay, and the beta should be coming out.
Late spring, early summer. Beta
Okay.
come out.
All right. What's new in 2010?
Well, we made a lot of investments around the architecting tools, visualization tools, as well as project management features and capabilities, and also testing. Huge investment around testing.
Testing. All right. Automated testing.
Automated testing, and manual testing.
Talk about that a little.
Our manual tester, we have a new product called Camino. It's a code name Camino. And the Camino is all geared towards non-technical testers.
Okay.
So the generalist tester can take this tool, create test cases, manage test cases, execute test runs, a lot of reporting capabilities around that. And then Camino gives the tester the ability to gather up a bunch of information about that test and hand it off to a developer, sort of on a silver platter, if you will. So the developer has a lot of rich information about that test and if it broke or what bug may have came out of it to help them repair and fix that problem. So we're trying to eliminate repros. No repros.
Okay, what do you mean by rich information? What kind of information?
A lot of rich information that Camino gathers through these things called trace collectors. It gathers up information around system information. So which system was the tester on when they were running the test?
Like what operating system?
What operating system, what
hardware?
browser were they using, what hardware, hard drive space, memory,
Okay.
things like that. Which test case were they executing? Which it gathers up a debug log information. So for historical debugging. So now
Okay.
we can kind of go back like a flight recorder and go back to the beginning of the test and look at all the different things that happened in that test run.
All right.
Video recording, so it records the screen as well.
Oh, wow.
For playback, so the developer can jump in anywhere they like to these video indexes and play that back.
So this will eliminate my favorite delaying technique, which is that can't be a bug. It works on my machine. You must be making this up, Mr. Tester.
Exactly. Worked on my box.
Yeah.
Eliminate no repros.
All right, so I can't use that excuse anymore. They can actually prove that there is a bug in the application. And even if it works on my box, it doesn't work. They can find a bug given this environment, this browser, this operating system, and show the steps that they were actually doing.
Correct.
Probably improves communication as well.
Definitely improves communication, gets everybody on the same page. The developers can see what the testers are doing. The testers feel good about providing a lot of rich information in our new bug work item type, a template now, to the developer so they can debug and just makes it a lot easier for them.
Okay, that's okay. So how does that information then get back to the developer who's probably not going to have Camino on his desktop?
Right. The Camino, again, it's for non-technical testers. It's a whole new edition for testers,
Okay.
specifically for testers. There's a new work item type called the bug type.
A new work on type inside of TFS.
Inside of TFS.
Okay.
Camino sits on top of Team Foundation Server,
Okay.
and the communication happens from the developers to the testers through the Team Foundation Server.
All right, so they're the testers using Camino to communicate with TFS, and I, the developer, I'm still using Visual Studio Team System to communicate with TFS, and we're pulling from that same.
You're pulling from the same repository of work items.
Okay, all right.
So now the work item template has changed a little bit to provide basically areas to store this rich information. So we have an other links tab, we have a system information tab, and things like that. So
All right. One of the things I do is architecture. What have you done for us, architects?
architecture, good. You love the architecture tools. So in the past, the architecture tool were great for for diagramming and whiteboarding applications and diagramming the data centers and things like that. Now with 2010, the architecture tools are all about visualization and allowing you to visualize namespaces and classes and assemblies and how everything's related to one another.
Okay.
Allows you to take an existing application and throw it into our visualizers to kind of help get your head around how the application works, how it's wired up. Maybe you have a new developer, a new person on your team that wants to get a better understanding of how this app works. You throw it to our visualizations architecting tools.
Okay.
So architecting is more for, and not just for architects, but it's also for developers, again,
All right.
on the team. There's some things called architecture explorers that allow you to, again, slice and dice your app visually, however you like it.
Okay.
There's UML 2.0 tools in Architecture Edition, so now you can do use cases and activity diagrams, sequence diagrams. You can do class matrix diagrams.
When you say do diagrams, do you mean that I'll be drawing those diagrams, or they'll be generated for me, or what?
Yes, we draw them and generate it for you.
Okay.
And it's changed for you if you like.
So the
And they're
tool,
stored as part of the solution now, sorry.
the tool's gonna, I saw a demo of this actually. By the way, thanks for doing our presentations for Sagetti and all of our customers.
Thank you.
That went really well, I
You're
thought.
welcome.
And I saw the demo. What I really liked was the generation of UML diagrams from existing projects. So I can't tell you how many times I've gone into a project and I didn't know anything about it, and all I have is the source code. And the first thing I do is open up the source code and I start diagramming things. How do the classes relate? Start diagramming sequence diagrams, the swim lanes.
Yep.
It's a very time-consuming process, trying to get my head around all that. And that's a couple of clicks away
Couple of
using
clicks.
VSTS, right?
That's exactly what the tools are for. They'll generate those on your source code, existing base, in real time, so within minutes, seconds.
Yeah, I saw that. That something really exciting.
nice,
Because
yep.
It's something I've wasted a lot of time on. So we covered the architect, we covered the
Testing
tester,
features.
and what's left? The developer.
There's some additional quality type features around the Team Foundation servers, for instance. Gated check-in is a big one.
Oh yeah.
So gated check-in is the next evolution of continuous integration.
Uh-huh.
So with continuous integration, you get a check-in, you immediately fire off a build. If the build breaks, you have a broken build,
Right, and then everybody stops.
and everybody stops what they're doing. Testers can't test, developers can't continue. It's pretty a high priority if a build breaks, so you want to fix it right away.
Right.
So with gated check-in, we basically extracted the layer there and allowed you to check something in, but yet it does a private sort of, so to speak, build for you.
Okay.
And if that build's successful and test passes, then it checks the code in. There's a related build called a buddy build that does the same sort of thing. Takes your changes and sees, make sure that it will compile and build against the teams, but yet it doesn't check it in.
Oh, okay, so this is just a different order than most continuous integration tools that I've used. You have to check the code in first in order to fire off this automated build process.
That's correct.
And if it fails, the code's already checked in, and that's why everything
Right.
has to stop. But all you've done is reverse that order and said, okay, we're going to do that automated build first, and only if that build succeeds, including compiles, unit tests, I don't know, FX cop rules, or whatever you've put into this, what makes a good build. If and only if that passes, then you check it in.
Then you check it in, that's
And
correct.
then it's not everybody's problem, it's just that one sucker that broke the build.
You don't want to negatively impact your teammates if you can help it. So
Okay.
therefore, run a smoke test, make sure it compiles
I like
prior to that. Protect the quality of the source control system ahead of time.
Okay.
So eliminate broken builds with the gated check-in.
All right, and you've been going around doing a lot of hands-on labs?
We've done some hands-on labs as well, and those are very popular, usually they fill up and there's a waiting list for them, so.
Oh, yeah, okay. And people actually get their hands dirty and use the product. What are they excited about? What are they coming back and telling you the favorite features are?
One of the favorite features is branch visualization. So branch visualization is all about tracking change.
Uh-huh.
It's about tracking change visually through your source code branches.
In
So
the
for
version
instance,
control?
in the version control system. For instance, if you had a bug you fixed, and you wanted to see if that bug made it to the main or integration branch or a prod branch, you can visualize that change by just clicking on the bug work item and
Okay.
say track me. It'll track that and draw it visually, kind of in a waterfall approach, show you the change sets, show you how it propagated into the other branches visually.
Okay,
It's a great tool, one of my favorites.
okay, and that's an aid in merging changes back together, or merging branches back together?
When you merge changes from one branch to another,
Okay.
it's a visual aid that way, correct.
Okay, all right.
So some great stuff coming in 2010.
That sounds good. Where can people get more information about
You can go to my website, teamsystemcafe.net.
TeamSystemCafe.net?
Teamsystemcafe.net.
We set it off, all right?
And there's a lot of information on downloads, on how-tos, on articles, on case studies. Any information I find on the developer community as a whole, I put on that website. So
Okay.
it's a great one-stop shopping to get where you need to be.
Okay, and you have a link to my blog on that website.
And I have a link to Dave's blog, fantastic blog. Please join us. So another feature, we call it the butterfly effect that happens inside of a team, is a developer may make a single byte change, a single line change, and check that code in. The problem is something else, some catastrophic happens over some
Sure.
other pair.
A butterfly flaps his wings in Mongolia,
That's-
and then there's a hurricane in the South Pacific.
That's exactly the thing here. So we have this thing called code butterfly effect where you make a change like that and something happens somewhere else. So with our test impact analysis features, it allows the developer to see, by making these 3 code file changes, that, hey, you affected these 6 tests, you should run these 6 tests. You could and should run your entire test suite if you'd like, or maybe save that for build time. But what's nice is when you immediately check it in, or before you check your code in, it'll show you which tests need to be executed.
Oh, okay, so if I've got 1,000 unit tests, I don't really need to run them all for a change. It'll tell me which ones will be impacted by my change. That's
Exactly.
pretty slick. Do you know how it knows?
It knows that because at build time, it actually is, it's actually, when it builds and compiles your code, it's looking at the methods, so it knows which tests go or wired to those methods through
Wow.
through unit tests.
Very impressive. I wonder if you're doing any method calls through reflection or something that's more
That's
loosely
exactly,
coupled than
I believe that's exactly how it works.
Wow. Okay.
Good point.
All right. Anything else?
I think we're good there. I'm very excited about 2010.
Randy Pagels, thanks so much.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Dave.
you talking to us.
Thank you.